Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of a double feature, where we are looking at the old-timey classic, at least that's what I'm going to call it, Ghostbusters. Now, this film has received such a cult following that people have been scouring the internet every day, hoping to hear news of Ghostbusters 3, and they just keep teasing us about whether it's going to be made or not. Who knows? But we have Ghostbusters that set the stage. Then we have Ghostbusters 2, which turned out to be a really weird movie. So maybe we need a Ghostbusters 3 to make up for Ghostbusters 2. But that's neither here nor there. All right. Thane, so this is coming up in the 1980s, and as you were saying in your review, that one of the big draws of this film is it's genuinely funny, and at the same time it has lots of blockbuster special effects and spectacle. Even though you say that the special effects don't really hold up as well because of the 80s. Fair enough. Do you think the humor holds up?
You know, I really do. I've been thinking ever since it's been a while since I've seen it. But when I was a kid, my parents were like, "You've got to watch this. It's a classic, whatever." So as a kid, I watched it several times, but it's been a while since I've seen it again, and I was amazed at how often I was laughing, especially with. I just think the chemistry between the three. Between, Murray, Aykroyd, and Ramis, just their chemistry is just so wonderful, and it's just sincere, and like I said, I think the brilliance of this movie, and I don't know if you saw it a lot in the 80s, I guess maybe you could tell me a little better than I could tell you, but not that you're old, I'm just saying.
just keep on digging.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to stop there. Let me move on. But I feel like nowadays, these big spectacle movies spend so much money on spectacle that they lose that, charm, that witty charm.
Are you saying Michael Bay is not witty?
Right. Now, of course, with Ghostbusters, I think the Marvel movies are a great example of this. Marvel is big spectacle, but it's so funny. It's just good humor.
Well,
so I think they did.
We're not going to do a blanket statement. There were the first few Hulk films.
All right. The Avengers was hysterical. But yeah, I just love that. I just love that this movie. It really walked that line so well of it. It's considered probably an expensive movie. It was an expensive movie to make, and yet there are so many lines that we repeat over and over and over again because they're just so funny. So I don't know. You obviously didn't think so, though. You thought the plot had the Environmental Protection Agency. Is that what it's called? The EPA.
The EPA.
You felt like that was, ridiculous.
Well, it was ridiculous.
I didn't think it was that ridiculous. Okay, but this is a movie about ghosts. The whole premise is ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's this, how do I want to put it? It's this idea of...
the environmental...
a federal bureaucrat comes in and immediately starts I demand you shut this down, or because I don't know what this is, so it scares me, therefore I'm getting a warrant and I'm shutting you down.
Right.
And it's just what? Where is this coming from?
Right.
Everything else can be explained except for the antics of the EPA, and I think it just came off as the movie wanted to poke fun at the EPA.
No, that's true.
Because, out of any federal agency,
right,
it's the Environmental Protection Agency that's coming in and messing things up.
Right.
Which is also, at this time... It's like the least liked federal agency there is. So I just sort of took this as a cheap shot.
No, that's probably true. That's probably true. I felt like they kind of dug themselves into that same pit with the second one, where it was like the mayor's assistant was this. I mean, that character just super bothered me, and I was like, oh, okay, we're just pulling at old strings, perhaps, because we got good laughs last time. I guess I don't know what the logic was there, but
excuse me. Yeah. Well, I did look on Wikipedia of all of the top 10, top 50, top whatever lists.
Yeah.
That Ghostbusters is on. Some pretty prestigious lists. It is also among the top 25 conservative films ever made.
Really?
Yeah, because they take cheap shots at the EPA.
I wouldn't have selected that list for the film, but I guess we can do that.
Hey, if a movie is going to demonize the EPA, conservatives are going to love it.
All right, well, fair enough. Well, touche.
Which is exactly what the movie does.
Yeah. No, but it's true. I agree. And I wanted your thoughts on this. I mean, what do you think about this film made it such a cult classic? Because this movie, I mean, you're right. I mean, it was certainly a blockbuster of its time. Definitely, it's good humor. The storyline's a little weak, but what was it about this film that really? I mean, I think it's the same thing with Arrested Development. Arrested Development's like this cult classic now, and yet it did terrible when it came out. But now, 10 years later, we're all like, Arrested Development's the best show ever. And, I always wonder, how does this happen?
Well, I think because we have to ask when we use the term cult classic, what do we mean? I would argue we mean it's a movie that's really, really loved by nerds. I mean, it's because if it's a mainstream movie, it's just a classic.
Right.
But if it takes a special nerdy demographic to love it, then also we have to label it as the cult classic. This is somewhere below mainstream. And as I was saying, I think the entire charm of the film is how unabashedly nerdy it is.
No, that's true.
And which I think that's one of the reasons why the second one lost it a little for me, is because they focused more on, I guess, slapstickish humor, and
no, that's true.
They didn't really do as much of the nerdy dialogue as like when Ray just starts going on and on and on and on and on about what level of Spectre they've seen, or the metal alloys that the building is made out of. But I think the movie does such a great job in just capturing what it's like to be that just joyous, unabashed nerd, and it makes no apologies for it.
No, that's true. That's true.
Ray and Spangler, and they're nerds to the T. They don't care about it. They'll go off in their own little world. And really, I think the humor that comes from them as they're just joyously enjoying their job was the highlight for me over sort of the womanizing of Venkman.
That's true. That's true. I personally, in the second film, I really liked the bookstore scene when Ray gets the phone call. We're open Monday through Friday till 5, 8 on Saturdays. I don't know why that scene is so funny to me, but I just thought Ray and Spangler and Venkman all together, oh my gosh, that scene is still one of my favorites. Well, and the courtroom scene. I think those are my two favorite scenes of number 2. Anyways, but yeah, certainly I agree with you. There's probably maybe a political correctness in saying it's a nerd film, so we say cult classic to be politically correct.
That's just me. I mean, I'll watch the film. Like I said, I lost count. I don't know if this was the 6th or 7th time I've seen this film, but, I enjoyed it this go around.
Yeah.
As well.
Well, maybe. I mean, in your review, you said 25 years too soon this movie was made. Maybe you'll get your wish. Maybe they'll make it, in the next year or two, and
we'll get Ghostbusters
a true Ghostbusters movie.
Oh, I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah. I feel like now with Ramis dead, by the way, let's take a moment of 1 second silence for Ramis. Okay. With Harold Ramis gone, I don't know who you'd replace him with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I almost feel like probably just a reboot.
We haven't said really anything about Ernie Hudson plays Winston. We focus on the other three.
That's true, we haven't. That's true.
However, I'll do a shout out to Ernie Hudson. He does give my favorite line in the entire movie.
Can I guess what it is?
You can guess, sure.
Okay. When somebody asks if you're a god, you say yes!
Yeah. That would be the one.
Ray, when somebody asks if you're a god, you say yes! Oh, gosh.
Followed shortly by the second favorite line in the film. Tell him about the Twinkie.
Tell him about the Twinkie. Yeah, that's a good one.
What about the Twinkie?
Yeah, what about the Twinkie? Yeah, just all of them have some really, really good lines. I mean, oh man, some of my favorites include... What's one of my favorites? Oh, okay. It's a Bill Murray line. He's one of my favorites. Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, it's such a good movie.
Let us know in the comments what your favorite line in this film is, and then come back next week when we're looking at a twofer. A double feature. We'll be doing a double feature. How's that for clever? Thought that one through.
Hey.
So it's a versus week. So come back here in a little bit and see what movies we're going to be looking at. They might be good enough. You'll go ape over them. Eh? Whoa. I'm sorry. That was so below me. But... follow us on social media, and as always, watch good movies.